This content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker-dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non-public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance.
Hey everybody, it's me, Moon and Papa, and you're watching my live stream here on YouTube. Things look good, things should be playing, and I'm pretty sure they are, but if not, please let me know in the chat. Things should be okay, I'm pretty sure, and I'm just gonna do a quick check. Yeah, I think we're good. If not though, please tell me in the chat. So I hope everybody's doing well. This has been a nice little relief bounce that we've seen in the markets. I think it's been really comforting to see Bitcoin rally up to 42K. Again, the secret of life, people, is 42, apparently. For Bitcoin, at least 42K, it's the secret of life for Bitcoin. So we have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about what I see for Bitcoin, what I see in the markets, and what I'm expecting to happen next. So before I do anything else, this is just a courtesy to you all to remind you that you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. But more than that, I would love it if you go ahead and just hit the like button on this live stream. So that way, I know you guys are digging it, and that way it's shared with people. Feel free to retweet and all that fun stuff. We have so much stuff coming at you guys. I'm super excited for a lot of stuff that's coming out. So gotta subscribe to stay updated. And if you want to join me for future live streams, go ahead and just click this button to set a reminder, so that way you'll be notified. And I have live streams every single week at this time. It's actually 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time on Thursday, but North American time, I'm talking about like East Coast, like New York, I believe it is, oh man, I think it's like 9 p.m. Yeah, that seems right. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. So again, I thank you for taking some time out of your evening, your day, to hang out with me here. So first off, I just want to make sure I'm actually a little bit paranoid that the volume is not coming through. Can you guys like say something in the chat channel? Like, can you hear me? Because I see audio, I'm pretty sure it's there, but I just want to make sure that I haven't just been a goldfish for the last 2 minutes or so. That'd be awesome. Okay, so I'm assuming that you can. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to jump on over to TradingView to talk about the market. So over here on BTC USDT, I want to talk about what I'm seeing. Awesome. Thank you guys for letting me know that you can see. Awesome. Okay. So over here on BTC, there's a lot happening. So the big part that's happening, the big part that I'm excited about is this white line right here. I know there's a lot of stuff here, but just bear with me. So in the Better Traders Club, we have signals that are generated, and they're called TBD signals. Honestly, there are too many T's and B's in everything. In hindsight, I should have called this something else, and I guess it's never too late, but it's essentially called the better dip signals. So these let us know when the price is down enough that it might make a bounce afterward. Now, it's not a guarantee every single time, but this one is pretty good. You can see here that it triggered when Bitcoin was at 38, just almost 39. So looking at the chart to see what it did when the alert was triggered. So of course, the price did fall down a little bit. It fell down some, but this is also part of the strategy where you do have a stop loss. You gotta have a stop loss all the time. My stop loss didn't trigger, and now I'm up. So it was a nice little trade. I shared this picture on Twitter showing that I was up 7%. Of course, it's fallen down a little bit. We have this little bit of a drop, but that's okay. I mean, this is a pretty nice little trade, and these are not short term. These are more mid to long term. So this is basically a buying opportunity, which is great, which is what I want to have as a trader. So just talking about the market, just talking about the craziness that's happening right now, it's important to make sure that you take profits on the way up, especially because we're not officially in a bull market yet. I know I posted a video with Bitcoin dominance and the breakout, and I know we're not seeing that play out the exact way yet. There's still time. And if it does play out that way, then we could see a pretty explosive move for Bitcoin, which would be incredible. So the important thing though is not to get all of your hopes on that one call. And it's very possible that it won't happen because the market's going to do whatever we want, but we make our best guesses with what we're given. So if that does play out and we see that big move up of even like 20% or so, that puts us up here to 48K. And of course we have these other points of resistance and support that Bitcoin has to fight against. So just focusing on where we are right now, I want to focus on a couple of things. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just hide this for now. Where are you? There you are. So I want to focus on RSI. So RSI, oh, you're not even looking at the screen. I am, but you're not. That's fun. I need like 4 or 5 people just to press all the buttons in here and to like direct me. Anyway, so I was going to say that Bitcoin is doing its thing. It's showing, yeah, thanks. I got it. Thank you. It's doing its thing. It's showing signs of strength a little bit, but it's not moving up near enough. Now there's going to be resistance for sure on the chart, but we're looking here at RSI, and what I'm watching like a hawk is to see how does RSI react in regards to price. And will it make another peak? Typically when RSI goes above 70, that's an oversold zone. But what I would love to see for BTC is to see RSI come back up, break out of this, retest, and maybe even come back up. It is very uncommon. It is not likely for RSI to peak and then immediately after peak higher. Most of the time it peaks and it peaks lower every single time. It loses strength after every rally. It just does, even though the price will continue to move higher. Like this rally right here. It peaks here, right there. And then it moves up higher. It moves up another 26% while RSI cools off. Only to make another run. And then it peaks, and then this one actually peaked higher. This is one of those rare occasions where it does. Now, we're not seeing anything close to what we saw back in 2020 for obvious reasons because of the bullish nature of the market and markets in general. So yeah, seeing something like this would be incredible. It's going to be, there are going to have to be lots of events just all lining up for the market to be that crazy and bullish and amazing. So I'm watching RSI, and you should too, because it's letting us know the relative strength of the chart we're looking at. Now, some really good things about the TBT forecaster down here is that Bitcoin has been neutral ever since really the 11th of February. And if you look at the 11th of February, we're just in this box and we're not really doing anything. So neutral, yeah, neutral makes sense. Alts have been bearish for sure. And I agree with this completely on the daily time frame for the TBT forecaster. So now let's just look at the chart itself. And I need to come into here and hide this and hide this. Great. So just the TBO alone. The nice thing that I'm seeing is that we now have this gray cloud appearing. I know it's like, what are you talking about? This. When we see this gray cloud appear, this means that a trend change is in the works. A trend change is coming. What will be the most difficult for the TBO, especially these clouds and this line right here, the slow line, is for this to curve up. It takes a lot of momentum for it to curve up. It's not impossible, but it's not likely to happen right away unless we see some sort of incredible move where Bitcoin all of a sudden surprises everybody and just rockets up. That is the kind of inertia we would need to really pull this up. I don't see that happening, just saying, but I'm watching this and it's pointing down still. But the interesting thing that I'm watching and I'm waiting for is that when we see this happening, when it starts to curve down to meet the price, eventually the price is going to come up to meet this, our slow line. It happened back here in the summer, right there, and it's going to happen again. So that puts us at Bitcoin sometime in the future being in this range of 46 to 48K to run up there if we have some sort of bullish structure taking place, which that's what I'm seeing. It's looking pretty good. I know you don't feel like it is, but this is what I talked about in the Better Traders Club live stream earlier this week. And even a while ago too, I was talking about, well, it'd be awesome to see Bitcoin making higher highs and higher lows. So unfortunately, we are seeing half of that right now. We haven't finished our move, and it would be great to see it make another move up to 45K before being rejected at a little bit higher of a low. And again, rejected, a little bit higher below, rejected, a little bit higher. Do you see what's happening here? So when we see this kind of movement on a chart, this is fantastic because this is going to essentially create a rising wedge, which is bullish, because the more times right here, and right here, the more times this resistance is hit, the weaker it becomes. Every single time it becomes weaker, especially as buyers are saying, well, that was really low. I don't want it. I want to buy here because it's dropped. And I don't think it's going to drop that low again. I don't think it's going to drop that low again. I don't think it's going to drop that low again, et cetera, until it finally is like a compressed spring and then it takes off. Now, it's not going to be a straight shot up to 62K, but you get the idea in that this is what I'm seeing and this is what I'm hoping plays out. Now, it does depend on BTC's price action, so I can't force it to do anything. It's going to take a lot of bullish news, and we could talk about what that bullish news could be. That would be happening in about 5 to 6 days. But there are also some relatively quote unquote scary market events that are coming up. So let's talk about those for a second. So there is an executive order on executive order on ensuring responsible development of digital assets. They don't even say cryptocurrency. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So this is from the White House. So there is a lot of jargon in here. The main part of this that you have to pay attention to is that the White House is looking at monetary authorities globally are also exploring, and in some cases introducing, central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. You're going to hear this come out a lot this year. A central bank digital currency is essentially a stable coin backed by a government. So USDT, Tether, USD Coin, TUSD, UST, these are all stable coins, but they're not necessarily they're not backed by an official bank. Some of them have some weird and shady connections like Tether does. So the United States is looking to see what are other countries doing as far as issuing their own digital currency, which is interesting. Because in the past, and thinking back to like 2018 and 19, whenever Tether would print Tether, whenever they would do that, the price of Bitcoin would explode. So I wonder if we're going to see the same kind of thing. I don't know. But that's just a weird tangent. What's the important thing to pay attention to is that when this happens, this is an acknowledgement of cryptocurrencies as a use case. Okay, this is a huge, long-winded sentence saying, yes, we recognize that there is a lot of merit to cryptocurrencies, but there are also inconsistent controls to defend against certain key risks. That's you, the investor, because they want to protect you, the investor, from making money. It necessitates an evolution of an alignment of the United States government approach to digital asset. Boy, their script writer must be paid a lot, because that's a lot of filler to say the US recognizes that there's money being made, but we need to protect people from scams, or what we think is a scam. So we're gonna filter everything out that is not good, that we think is not good, that United States citizens should not get access to, and then they can get access to only the things that we say are okay. So regulation is coming. It has been coming for a while. In one way, it's a really good thing for cryptocurrency markets. It's a really good thing because it acknowledges it. And when cryptocurrencies are regulated, then they're more likely to be added into an official state, or sorry, a US issued ETF. There are ETFs issued by Canada and other countries, but the United States hasn't done that yet. They haven't taken that step, even though lots of billionaires and lots of businesses are buying Bitcoin and talking about their Bitcoin holdings. This is a big migration that's happening. The US is, especially the government, is going to be super slow. Why? Why would the United States be slow to, okay, this is a joke. The United States has an interest in responsible financial innovation, as long as it doesn't damage the dollar. That's what should really be there, but it's not there. Expanding access to safe and affordable financial services like banks, and reducing the cost of domestic and cross-border funds transfers and payments. Yeah, right. Yeah, they have an interest in that. I'm sure they have an interest in that. No, it's all a racket. There's so many connections happening. They lose. Businesses lose. Wells Fargo will be, I think, Wells Fargo will literally be the Stagecoach emblem, because no one uses a Stagecoach anymore to send messages across the country. It's defunct. It doesn't serve a purpose anymore. And that's what cryptocurrencies are doing. They're saying, bye-bye, your old technology. They don't want to do that. That's an institution. I mean, think about this. For all of you that are a little bit older, if you remember when the internet became, was budding in the late 90s, early 2000s, and email was coming out, the United States Postal Service was freaking out. They didn't want people to send messages. They want people to buy stamps. They want people to use the USPS, because if people don't use the United States Postal Service, guess what? They're out of jobs. So the United States is trying their best to save face, to say, we like our dollar. We want it to stay number one. And we recognize the merit of cryptocurrencies, but we want to control it so much and take all the things that we like, but make it ours, which essentially is a hard fork, right? Except it would be a terrible fork, be a poopy fork. Gross. We must take strong steps to reduce the risks that digital assets could pose to consumers, investors, and business protections. Financial stability and financial system integrity. Integrity. Financial system integrity. That just sounds like word salad coming from the White House. Am I wrong? I don't mean to get super political, but they are trying to solve a problem that's already been solved, but they're just trying to control the solution. That's all this is. So regulation is coming. It's a good thing, but there will have to be a sacrifice made. Not all countries are going to regulate crypto the same way that the US will, but I bet you that lots of countries are going to be looking at them and how they do it. Because if the US can still maintain control of the dollar as the world currency, then they've done a good job. So other countries are going to mimic what they've done, for better or for worse. So it's important to watch this stuff. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's an article here on Bloomberg that goes more into depths on this, talking about this coordinated approach to crypto. So yes, an executive order signed on Wednesday, basically saying that the White House called on agency across the government to coordinate what's thus far been a scattershot approach to the asset class. No kidding. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen next week. It might not even happen this year. There are lots of other things going on this year. Have you noticed? there's Ukraine, there's a financial crisis happening in the US with inflation rising, and there's also the CPI index is going to be updated soon. And the last time that happened, the charts on BTC took a dive because the numbers were scary. So the bullish case for Bitcoin right now is that it avoids government issued CBDCs, government issued cryptocurrencies, which are great, which is what we want. So what we need to make sure of is that it does not, whatever the governments come out with, does not replace Bitcoin at all. Bitcoin replaces governments. It provides a level of stability that hasn't been available before. Therefore, we have to be careful not to give into the fear or what's happening around us. But Bitcoin is king and it's going to stay king. So we've got to keep an eye on it. Now, if this meeting with the Fed and Jerome Powell, when they're talking about assessing their interest or the interest rates of the United States, and they look at everything and they decide, oh, well, we're looking at inflation and our models are saying that no, like we're predicting whatever it is, 50 BPS, 50 basis points of inflation. So therefore, we're going to actually go below that. If they even drop just a little bit below that, that's going to be super bullish for all markets. But if they go higher, more than 50 basis points, it's going to punish the market again, which I know they don't want to do. So they're in a really tricky situation. It's such a weird thing, isn't it? Mainly the fact that so many people in the US care about inflation. They understand inflation now more than ever, thanks to the internet and thanks to Bitcoin. So it's really interesting. So let's talk about two scenarios. So the Fed decides to raise rates beyond what they had previously said that they would do. That could easily take BTC down to 30K. Given the last time it dropped. So if that happens, this totally breaks this idea of this nice rising structure. It will destroy it. It will not happen. And that means that we're going down to 30K again. But if we're looking at everything that's happening right now, rising RSI, we're looking at least for the TBO, we're seeing a trend change in the works. We're seeing a slowly upward facing trend, rising trend line. Things are looking bullish. They just need a push in the right direction. So if the interest rates come out as positive, meaning that it's the same as predicted or less, that will push assets up. Not only Bitcoin, but it will also prop up the S&P 500, which has been tanking. It's been suffering pretty hard since the beginning of the year. It's just been down. But you can even see that for the moment, it looks like it's found a bottom here at 4,000. So if this happens to be the start of a new trend, and the SEC says, or sorry, Jerome Powell says, oh, we're not actually going to raise inflation more than expected. Expect the S&P to rise, meaning that like the FANG stocks, the FANG index stocks will rise. Then we'll have a little bit of a relief bounce just before the summer. And that would be incredible for all markets. And it's dearly needed, in my opinion. Okay, so let's look at something that I'm making a video about. And I just want to give a teaser of it. And I need to choose a different chart. There we go. Okay, so on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, I talked about this in the Better Traders Club. I know I just gave the spiel for why everything is bullish right now. The unfortunate truth, though, is that it could get bad. It could. And the reason for that is because of what I saw at the beginning of the week, which is an open short here on the weekly time frame. The last time we saw this, we were in the middle of the bear market. And this is after these big moves. And here is the Corona crash in March 2020. So the interesting thing is that the setup is the exact same. Two closed longs, cross down, open short. to close longs, cross down, open short. If that's the case, then this breaks a lot of models because the price of Bitcoin fell about 50% down to 33. If we see a fall of 50%, that puts us down at 20K or 19K. Talk about conflicting signals, right? When I was saying that, oh, well, we have this amazing thing happening right now with Bitcoin dominance. I mean, it looks great. And the fact is that we've seen it and now it's even rising and things are looking good and we have a breakout. And because of that breakout, we should see Bitcoin respond positively in price action to move up higher. I know, I'm the guy who made the video. And as I made it, I was thinking, boy, there's going to be something. I know there is, because there always are. There's going to be some variable that I miss or that is not covered. And that was one of them. So there is so much pressure on what is going to be happening with inflation rates, what's going to happen with Ukraine and Russia. There are so many variables that it's very mixed right now. Bitcoin could easily take a move up higher. It could, because we're making this higher structure. If we see a nice move up to 52K, that would be incredible. And that would put us on a rally to move higher because the market would be showing signs of strength. So let's take a look at a couple of trend lines here. First of all, it's just looking so much better than it did way back here. We're showing signs of strength. We're still testing and breaking above these trend lines. If we can get a bounce here at 40K, then our next point of resistance is 43K right away, short term, because it's drawn off of this line. But it's amazing that we're just keep making these newer trend lines that are moving up and up and up. If we're just looking at the TBO resistance and support lines, we are literally at the support line drawn by the TBO way back here. And one thing that's awesome about the TBO is that the longer the line of support, the stronger it is. Look here. The price here bounced 3 times off of that before it crashed below, struggled above, crashed below, struggled above, crashed below, struggled above, and it's right at 40K. No surprise, right? And look, our previous move up on the 2nd, about a week ago, we stopped right where? At our resistance, right here from the TBO. It literally hit. So we have, we don't have support. We have resistance again, right here at 45 and 44. Now, I would love to see BTC make a higher move today and just keep bouncing in this range, moving up higher and higher. And then that means we're going to struggle at 48K, 50K, 52K, all the way up to 60K. It's not going to be a straight shot, but it's very promising. Okay, so now let's look at some Fibonacci lines. I love looking at these because they are incredible in how they predict market behavior and market action. So let's make this just super clean and easy to see. So what I'm seeing right now is that this line of 39K is doing an amazing job right now of being resistance and support. So I told you that right here, we are literally at support for the TBO. The next line of support would be 39.5 or 39.4. So we have resistance up here. These two lines, no duh, why the price was struggling here. So the next challenge that we have is right here at 48K. If I bring back the TBO resistance lines and support lines, it's almost the same price. It's just a couple $100 away. So this is going to be the next struggle. And then the biggest one is going to be here at 50K because round numbers are so mentally challenging for traders. There's a lot that is possible for BTC. And to me, I'm seeing signs of strength all over the place on the daily time frame. If we zoom in to the 4-hour time frame, and I'm just going to look at the TBO, gonna take these guys off. Good. We are crab walking and we are enjoying the view as we go back and forth, back and forth. But the truth is that we're spending way more time, if you think about it, in this upper range. We're spending more time struggling in this range right here because that's where we were struggling before. So let me extend this out just like this. This is really our range, our money range. This is where we want to stay inside. And note that we have a resistance up here at the top at 44K. So every time we enter this range, this is our oversold territory. I'm sorry, overbought territory, where we're going to have some challenges. We're going to have some, we're going to have a little bit ahead of us to get above 45K, but it's not impossible at all. So as we see Bitcoin making higher lows, it is super bullish. And it makes me excited to think, wow, we actually have a shot at getting out of this range and getting back up to 50K and beyond. So what does that mean for all of your trades, especially your altcoin positions? If you're using altcoins to buy Bitcoin right now, you got to be careful, because if and when Bitcoin makes a positive move up, the value of those Bitcoin paired trades will sag. They will fall. This is not a problem for DCA bots on 3 commas, but if you're using smart trade or you're just trading in general, you'll want to have some extra funds ready to bail out those deals with additional funds, like an add funds order. Be careful. Do not underestimate Bitcoin. Right now, people are enjoying the volatility in the altcoin market, but the truth is that as Bitcoin dominance is rising and looking stronger and stronger, that means less money, less crypto is being put into altcoins. That is huge. The more that this grows, the less wise it is to hold altcoins, because they'll be sagging in their value, in their volume. The other fun thing to keep an eye on is USDT. I am still waiting for a drop in USDT. This will be the final confirmation to me that yes, we are going to see a rise in Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to hide everything, and I'm going to hide this. So you can see that we are starting to rise, unfortunately, which means that we should see USDT rise again. But we're also seeing in the TBO that we see this gray sliver right here, meaning that there could be a trend change coming. The last time this happened was way up here, and USDT dominance fell, meaning that Bitcoin rose in value, in price. So this is a very interesting thing that I see happening, where we're still moving up, but if we can get this to fall, and if USDT dominance falls and drops down here to 2%, not only will it be a 40% move or more, that means that Bitcoin is going to shoot up like crazy, because less USDT held on the market means more Bitcoin, more everything else, meaning that everything can shoot up. Everything's going to go higher. There are a lot of variables to look at here. I understand that this is a lot to take in, but it's still exciting nonetheless. So I understand that for some of you out there, you're like, wow, this would be awesome. I wish I could understand this stuff more. Well, we do talk about the TBO in every single one of our trading courses. You can get a free trial of it in our courses, or if you want to bypass the course, you can just get the TBO through thebettertraders.com. And when you sign up for the TBO, you get access to a course that teaches you how to use the indicator. It teaches you what you need to understand, what you need to look out for, and little tricks and tips like that. And of course, we have the club, like I talked about before, where things are popping. I'm sharing watch lists. There is some incredible news coming out this week about the Better Traders Club, but there is a ton of stuff in it. I cannot recommend it enough. So I see that there are just a few questions over here in the live stream, so I'm going to do my best to answer these quickly, and we are going to call it a day, a night, an evening, wherever you are. So what if they do what they're doing to Russia with Bitcoin? Davy Crockett asks. What if the United States does to its own citizens what they're doing to Russia with Bitcoin? Well, if for some reason the value of the USD drops, I think that's what you're talking about. And if not, please feel free to explain your question or write it again. So what happened in Russia with all the sanctions, cutting them off, will probably not only make them healthier, but give them more time to actually focus on important things like slapping themselves awake to realize, oh, this is a bad idea. Hopefully the people in, positions of power realize, oh, we should probably stop doing this now and just try to save the little face that we have left, right? So the one thing about Bitcoin too is that you can't really place sanctions on Bitcoin. Russia's tried before all this happened. They released a statement saying that they will allow their citizens to buy Bitcoin through a registered bank, for one, through a bank, and that bank will require them to fill out a knowledge test. And the knowledge test, if passed, they can buy so much Bitcoin per year or whatever, but it's all kept in the bank. They actually don't get the crypto. It's the same thing as buying Bitcoin on Robinhood, or I believe on PayPal. If you buy Bitcoin, you're not actually buying, you don't have the keys to that Bitcoin. You're just buying it through PayPal. They're holding it for you. So essentially it's like a certificate. It's paper money, because paper money is representing gold that's in Fort Knox or wherever in the US, right? That is super flaky and awful. I don't expect the United States to do something like that, but if they did, good luck trying to enforce it, because people are going to find a way. The internet is amazing in that people can access anything they want to if they go through the right avenues, right? So if the United States really tries to crack down on trying to ban Bitcoin, good luck, because by issuing that executive order, Biden and his team are recognizing that, well, no, I guess we really can't ban Bitcoin. So we have to find a way to work alongside of it. So I'm not expecting anything major or terrible to come out of it. So yeah, cool. So I'm going to call things good here for today. So if you guys have any questions, please do join my public Discord server. You can send me a DM there. You can leave questions and comments on this video as well. But now I think it's just time to say au revoir, say what I always say at the end of these things. So stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.